So when I reached the end of my high school years, when I already had a certain career, already in the field, what had I accumulated? When I was 18, half of my life had already been online. What does that mean for us? Today, everyone is born into it, but back then it wasn't like that. Professionals weren't like that. And I encountered a first barrier. The first is that it's a thing for me, very precious and sensitive. Even today, our area as a whole, all its subdivisions, some are indeed, but not all. They are very linked to the exact sciences. I don't think that's a very concrete connection. And that happened to me back then. If I wanted to go to college, I would necessarily have to take an entrance exam focused on exact sciences and have a curriculum in college that was very tied to those subjects. And that's not really my vibe, you know? Other types of interests, but arithmetic, physics, the chemistry part, the cool phenomenon. I love science, but please, how many hours do the car and the train cross paths? It wasn't my vibe. So the fact that they require mathematics and physics as a compulsory subject, that you need to perform well to get into these courses, and they are always present in the curriculum. A lot of calculus and statistics kind of banned me from continuing in the field, from finding a way to enter academically in that area. There wasn't an entry point that wasn't, which for me was an obstacle. I had to go to summer school. Math from first grade to eighth grade, which is now the new ninth grade. What changed in high school? It's algebra. When it switched to letters, I was good with it. So the fact is that I was polynomial, but I didn't divide with a comma, you know? My brain isn't really good at arithmetic, you know? The computer does the math. It's not me. So I think many degree programs still make the mistake of profiling all our professionals in the field. Some of them are for sure, but not all of them are in the exact sciences. And I don't see myself as a math person. In my daily life, the calculations I do, well, it's just adding up the number of plates. It's not a requirement that an engineer needs to have. Even though we have engineers in our field, they really need to be very in tune with the numbers. So that was a barrier. And another thing happened to me at the end of high school. I had absolutely fascinating teachers, those Hollywood movie ones. Wow, I need to teach. Because it was such a fascinating thing, I got bitten by the teaching bug and decided to become a teacher first, and then I went to choose a field, an excuse to teach. I chose biology because it's the field that talks the most about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, which was something I wanted. The thing was to teach. The subject was just an excuse. I was more of a teacher than a biologist. When I told my family about this, they panicked. My mom cried. She put me with a psychologist, thinking I had some kind of problem because at that time I already had the ambition. This is going to be my future. Bill Gates from the family. So I could either go into technology or go into medicine. That would be well regarded. Now, becoming a teacher, it exists. If it still exists today, back then it existed even more. There's a mistaken view that being a teacher is a pity, that it's a career for someone who failed. I read a comment the other day about the vaccine there, which I found fantastic. The girl said, "I've already been vaccinated. My comfort is